stories. It never ends, does it? It just never ends. Wow. Fikile talking today, basically telling the Democratic Alliance to take a hike. Hit the road, Jack. Don't look back. Don't look back. Well, that's disturbing news. The ANC still acting as if it is the godfather of the government of national unity when it's just another member of this coalition. But they're not acting that way. Wow, are we even live here? What's going on? Is anybody even watching this program? Let's double check on something here very quickly. Turn that off. Still live? Looking good. Okay, live chat. Okay, good. Okay, there we go. Oh, Mandy's here, and Little Miss Know-It-All. Oh, the ladies have shown up. Nice of you to be on time there, ladies. It tells me there's one of you here, but I see two in the chat. YouTube's data is always a little slow. There he goes. Oh, sorry, Hannah. More ladies. Okay, there's a dude. The guys are coming in now. Welcome back to the program, folks. How y'all doing? Anyway, so Fikile, we're going to talk about that today. Talk a little about Trump. Somebody's out there outside. What's going on behind me there? Is my screen looking a little dirty there? Hang on. So you give anybody fits by doing that? It was looking a little cloudy. It looks a little bit better now. Is that better? Give me a thumbs up there. 8 likes already. Cool. Hey, Anton, how's it going? Wow. Hey, so for those who didn't see it, wow. It's going to be an all Cape Town final for the Varsity Cup as Stellenbosch and UCT won their games against Shimla's and the other game. Who was the other one? Anyway, so they won their game. And Tux and Shimla's lost. So it'll be it's Stellenbosch. That'll be the final. Hey, Melissa, we knew just in time. Yeah, so that should be interesting. That'd be an incredible final, hopefully. And we'll see what happens there. Hopefully Stellenbosch can pull it out, so we'll see. Anyway, all right, so Action SA, the opposition party in South Africa, says it will consider joining the government of national unity if, Anton says studies all the way, if the VAT is removed. Of course, famously, just recently, the Action SA party under Herman Mashaba actually joined forces with the ANC to pass the budget, which included the VAT hike. So what are they getting at? What exactly is the game of Action SA here? It doesn't seem clear to many people what they're up to. People are really not sure what they're up to. Anyway, so sad to bring you difficult news to talk about, but we have to cover this stuff too. Difficult to cover this stuff, but so we've got a Times Live report that an Mpumalanga teacher impregnated a schoolgirl, not once, but twice. DA said they will not leave. Yeah, good. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to leave. I predicted they wouldn't leave, didn't I? They're too much craven political fake news headline. What are you talking about? There's no fake news headline. We got a mod here. Get ready for the trolls. Who are you, Zebin Murray? What fake news? Please elaborate on your fairy tale. There's no fake news here. He told the DA to take a hike. I got quotes here, buddy. Told him to go and walk him out. Fake news is your chat. Fake news is your chat. Indonesian there. Anyway. So, a teacher in Mpumalanga impregnated a school pupil, not once, but twice. The first time he forced her to drink rat poison, endangering her life in order to kill the child. Oh my gosh, these people have to be so freaking loud. There's nobody in here. 3 people, they're on the other side of the room, 20 meters away, and they're making more noise than as if they're in a nightclub. Anyway, so made her drink rat poison. Then he infected her with HIV and impregnated her a second time. So what does he get for this as a pedo? Does he go to prison for statutory rape, child endangerment, abuse of his authority as a teacher, or homicide? No. What does he get? What does he get? He gets 38,000 Rand a year for 2 years to pay child support. Yeah, this is a pedo who raped a 13-year-old girl, made her drink rat poison, and raped her again, impregnated her, gave her HIV, which she has to live with the rest of her life now, and he gets to pay child support, maintenance. Hey, Debbie, 140 Rand, thank you for the super chat. Wow. Along those lines, so these creepy little bastards messing with children, there have been a bunch of arrests for rape in South Africa over the past week, 229 to be exact. Among them is a 58-year-old male teacher who was arrested on March 31st for raping a 13-year-old pupil in Limpopo. A 24-year-old teacher raped a 15-year-old in Nelspruit. These were among 7 suspects arrested for raping children in South Africa between March 30th and April 6th. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? Well, I can tell by the fact that they didn't mention a name that the teacher isn't white. Yeah, Malema's just proven Trump's case. That's right. Again, Zebulon, what's the fake news headline? You still haven't elaborated on that. Please do share your claim of fake news. I don't know what your fake news claim is. Right. So another state's witness gunned down in Wynberg yet again. Remember, May 25th of 2023, Christine Gumina was shot outside the courthouse, gunned down. She was a state witness. Now another state witness was sitting in the courthouse today. Someone walked in, shot him in the head 3 times, and walked out. Wow. A toy for those rapes. Okay, Adele, thank you for sharing that. Another state's witness. Well, I tell you what, if you turn state's evidence in South Africa, good luck with that. Babita De Karan, Angelo, so many people. So many people. Well, Cyril Ramaphosa speaking said that, hey guys, guess what? Someone please show the Telegram group. Well, which one do you want, Leon? Do you want Telegram groups to follow this program, or do you want Telegram and WhatsApp groups for the refugee cities? You have to be specific. We have existing groups that are for people to follow the news. They can leave if they want to. Who can leave if they want to? What are you talking about? I don't understand your questions, Zibrin. Who can leave if they want to? The ANC doesn't own the Grand Coalition and the Government National Unity. An agreement was reached between the ANC and the DA. They both have the same weight in this organization. But the ANC is arrogant. It doesn't feel it's that way. They are dictating how it is. They've already been the ones who've been to double dealing, the ones who betrayed the agreement. They're the ones who invited 8 other people to join, other parties to join it, which wasn't in the agreement. So they're the ones who are devious and under the board. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So Cyril Ramaphosa says that we have to instill a culture of honesty and integrity in the police. Well, there's an understatement. Thank you so much for that, Captain Obvious, Cyril Ramaphosa. But why stop there at the police? Why don't you instill a culture of honesty and integrity in the ANC, in your cabinet? What about in Parliament? Or how about in the parastatals? That'd be nice, huh? Well, Psychobilly, at this hour, we do the news. We're doing the news right now. So, Fikile says the ANC... What did I say here? What is this? Oh, the ANC is awaiting their divorce papers from the DA. Thank God these people are still making noise over there. So the ANC is waiting divorce papers from them. Everything that the ANC is saying is trying to force the DA to leave the coalition. Jacques Vint, that's where I was going to go. They can leave if they want to. They can leave their friends behind. Because if friends don't dance, and then they ain't no friends of mine. You can walk if you want to. You can dance, doing it pole to pole. Men without hats. That was exactly, Charles. That's what I can leave if they want to. I was about to go there. I see that Jacques did it. If they don't dance, and then they don't dance, well, no friends of mine. You can do it. Men without hats. What a great song. Talk about one hit. Well, they were really a one-hit wonder, but that's the one we remember. So Fikile Mabalula says that the ANC is awaiting the divorce papers from the DA. Meanwhile, Paul Kagame says the countries that are sanctioning Rwanda over the M23 crisis can go to hell. Can go to hell. Well, that would include countries like Canada, UK, Germany, and the European Union in there as well. Emerson Mnangagwa has ordered that the suspension, Emerson Mnangagwa, the illegitimate president of Zimbabwe, the crocodile. Well, you won't get a notification on this one, because so cold outside. Temperature switching back and forth. Now my nose is running because this was not scheduled, so it just goes like that. They don't tell people about it. But Emerson Mnangagwa, the crocodile, illegitimate president of Zimbabwe, has said that he has ordered the suspension of all tariffs against U.S. imports. It's an effort to get in the good graces of the Trump administration, but I don't think it's going to work. The U.S. has imposed 18% tariffs on Zimbabwe, but the problem is that Mnangagwa wants the travel restrictions and the investment and the financial restrictions lifted from leaders of ZANU-PF and from the parastatals that they run. But the reason they're sanctioned is not because of tariffs on us. They're sanctioned because they're human rights abusers and violators. Now, calculated risk, it's not sensationalist. They read and listen to every comment that Fikile said. That's basically what he told them. He said they can go and walk about. He told them to take a hike. Exactly. That's what he did. He said, go and walk about. Waiting to divorce papers. What do you interpret that as? Well, gosh, we hope they stay. We hope they stay. Come on, man. Pay attention. Listen to everything that Fikile Mabalula said. I was going to use go on walkabout, but I figured South Africans wouldn't get that. So, anyway. If you don't like the title, then don't be here. Leave. It's the news. Anyway, but the U.S. has put 18% tariffs on Zimbabwe, and they're not going to go away because Mnangagwa. Well, they might go away because of lower tariffs, but he's not going to get the sanctions against leaders removed. That isn't going to happen. You can take away tariffs, and that'll get us to lower our tariffs, but you're not going to be able to get the sanctions taken away until you stop abusing human rights and start behaving yourself and obeying the rule of law. And that is not happening in Zimbabwe, where they continue to imprison journalists for reporting the news. South Sudan has explained why the United States suspended visa access and expelled all South Sudanese from the United States. Apparently, it's because a citizen of the DRC was among those that were sent back to South Sudan for repatriation. They refused to take him. So, no, if you understand politics, DA wants them to tell them to take a hike. Thank you, Dr. Murray. Appreciate your contribution. Good to know you're right about everything. Thanks for sharing. Kenya is looking at the tariffs in kind of a good light. They got 10% tariff slapped on them, but they're doing better than other exporters of clothing. For instance, Vietnam got a 46% tariff, Sri Lanka 44%, and Bangladesh 37%. So Kenya suddenly sees an opportunity here to export more things. Sicher 100% Arschloch. Du kannst mich mal am Arsch lecken. Verstehst du mal? Verstehst? Okay, so yeah, so Kenya is instantly more competitive. Yeah. Yep. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed rapidly this morning, a little more certainty in the marketplace. And in a shocking 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Trump administration. Not that it was in favor in the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. They ruled that the president has the authority. We don't need Supreme Court to rule on that. It's pretty obvious. The law was passed. It's legal. The law has never been challenged in 200 years plus. So anyway, in a 5-4 decision, what's shocking is that it wasn't 9-0. And once again, the turncoat betrayer of the Constitution, Amy Coney Barrett, nearly sank this effort here, nearly stole executive power from the executive branch, just one vote away from that. It's unbelievable that this would even be a question. You don't need to be an esteemed attorney or member of the bar to understand that what is going on here is a violation of the separate co-equal powers of the government. Panama. An audit in Panama has determined that the Hong Kong company that has the contract for the canal that Trump wanted out has violated the contract in numerous ways. So, not a surprise there. London-based Ember, an energy analysis think tank, claims that 40.9% of global electricity generation last year was by so-called clean energy. Of course, they include nuclear, which is anything but clean, but it's sure a lot cleaner than many things, and wind and geothermal and all this other stuff contributed to 40% of electricity. What they don't tell you is that 40% is not base power, which means that it's not reliable. You can't use all that 40% at any given time. And so they don't tell you the full story on that. U.S. and Iran are holding nuclear discussions, talks on Saturday. I thought Trump was an evil guy who didn't talk to people. He was a unilateralist. He was a go-it-alone. He was America first, hiding behind the walls and doesn't engage with people. But here's the United States and Iran talking about nuclear weapons. Sonia says they must grow a pair. Yep. All right. Now, after Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger recalled their ambassadors from Algeria a day or so ago, after Algeria shot down a Malian drone, Algeria has now closed their airspace to aircraft from Mali. Getting spicy up there in the Sahel and the Sahara. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has told President Trump the obvious, that the markets are roiling because they face uncertainty because the world hasn't heard what Trump's plan is. What's the plan? People are confused. Trump gives one piece of information, then contradicts it in the next sentence. So we really don't know what's going on here vis-a-vis Trump's tariffs. Are they permanent, which some staff have implied, and that's devastating if it's true. Are they open to negotiation? Trump said yes, they are. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. All right, folks, that's opening salvo of news, 16 minutes. I've got more to talk about Fikile and Babalula and others, but let's see what people are saying in the chat. Go back a little ways. Congress passing off. No, it hasn't even been numbered yet, William. You need to calm down. You need to calm down. I mean, these things don't happen overnight. They're a lot slower than what Trump is doing. So, get a grip. ANC Ward Councilor in Rustenburg pulled a handgun and community members in town whilst they were demanding basic services. What? Where did that happen? I didn't see that story reported anywhere. Safadom, can you give me a link to that? Yes, America knows about the Chinese all over Africa, trust me. Chris, have the DA have the scope to take a case against NC for going outside you? No, there's no legal basis for it. There's nothing legal there. They didn't sign any document. They just had a memorandum of intent, and that's not binding. You can't hold anyone to that. So, no, the ANC. But the thing is that we need to stop framing this in the concept that the ANC is deciding about what happens to GNU. They're not. The ANC didn't create the GNU. The ANC doesn't own the GNU. The ANC is not a governing body of the GNU. The ANC is a member of the GNU, and the other member of the GNU is the Democratic Alliance. Those are the two parties who reach an agreement, a memorandum of intent. Then the double dealing took place from the ANC, going behind the DA's back and inviting 8 other parties in. Why did they do it? Because they knew they would be obliterated by their supporters if they went into a coalition with the white party, which is comical. The DA is anything but white. Anyway, but yeah, so that's why they went into, they invited all these other parties just for the appearance that they were actually objective and not going into bed with the DA. So we're not going to bed with the DA. Everybody got invited. That's what they said. But the coalition, the agreement is between the DA and the ANC. So the ANC can't kick the DA out. The DA can't kick the ANC out. This is all nonsense. Now, it'll take forever for other analysts to start realizing this, kind of like what we're seeing now. My warning about South Africa being out of a go and the go disappearing, which I was reminded today by one of my viewers in a WhatsApp message that I predicted this 3 years ago. I did. But, anyway, so much for crowing. Would love to know what progress of the 2 documents toward the House. No progress. Relax, folks. We need to quit worrying about that stuff. The feeling that they are going to take property of force. Well, it's already happening. Sesheho. And then beyond Sesheho is also East London. Yep, we've seen it. Making me think too much. My brain hurts. It goes. I voted DN, was wondering if it was wise. Calculated risks says, didn't mean to upset you, Colonel, just trying to be objective. Didn't mean to upset me about what? Calculated risk. I don't recall responding to any comment that you mentioned. Did I respond to one? Didn't realize it? Diet home poll. 7.7 million AIDS, HVAC is out there, 4 million whites. Strange how the board is the problem. Yeah, Justin. DA wants to be fired. They don't want to resign. Well, they can't be fired. This isn't Donald Trump, and this isn't Donald Trump, and this isn't The Apprentice. They can't fire them. It doesn't work that way, folks. I mean, I don't understand why nobody gets this, including the DA. You can't be kicked out, DA. It's your coalition. You formed it. You can't be kicked out just because the ANC is angry with you. I mean, people really need to come to get grips with this. Hang on a second. A little bit higher there. Yeah. All right. There we go. The phone was just a little too far to get to. Trump is making a free trade zone. I think it's good. Well, I hope so. David said hard times are coming. Well, yeah, hard times are already there. Ron, good to see you as well. China selling light vehicles $2,000. Wow, that's interesting. Ellen says that Kenya sells more to the USA. The trade deficit between them and the USA would increase unless they buy more from the USA. Just both how Vietnam ended. No, that's the LMC. You're falling for the media's fake news, who are falsely interpreting the formula that was used. Again, read the charts. The formula is based not simply on the deficit. It's based on tariffs, currency manipulation, and artificial barriers. Now, how they calculate the artificial barriers is a question which nobody's addressing. But I mean, for instance, Japan for a long time forced any motorcycles that were imported to the country to be totally disassembled. Just a stupid law. So every motorcycle shipped to Japan had to be taken apart piece by piece, inspected, and then put back together. Do you know how much time and effort that took, and what it took, and what it did to the price of those vehicles? Quite a bit. Drove them up. So no, LMC, your analysis is a bit off the mark because you're falling for the leftist media who are lying, particularly in South Africa. Oh, Trump just took the deficit, divided by 2, put the cosine over the top, added by 5, multiplied by 6, took 6 out, and came up with these bullshit tariffs. And that's not going to how it worked. Not how it worked. Leon's asking for the groups again. What's the refugee telegram? If someone could do that, I'm not able to do that on my phone. How do you apply for refugee status in America? Well, you don't. Unless you happen to be one of the registered 7.6 million refugees somewhere else in Africa who are already on a waiting list. Are you South African? I assume you are. You don't. There's no program. Still waiting for it to be announced. You can send an email to the American Embassy in Pretoria, which is collecting emails from people who are interested in it. And that was the basis for them calling some people in for preliminary interviews to get a sense of what's going on. So if that's your question, Sharon, you can do that. All right, and that email I don't have handy. Maybe one of my mods has it because I'm on a mobile phone. Can share it with you. Short of that, my recommendation is just look up ZA. Just go to the American Embassy in South Africa. It's right there on the front page. The email address to send them. Tell them you are. Tell them you're interested, and you'd be interested in applying for refugee status. But there is no program. We're still waiting for it. Okay. What happens? Stupid Telegram keeps sending messages. Happens anyway when Ramaphosa's time to leave is up. Then the MK will be in. Why do you suppose MK and EFF will be in? Because Ramaphosa's out. The ANC has the votes, not Ramaphosa. Michelle Heckler, every day is a hectic day these days. Why is everyone failing to understand the ANC controls the police, the military, and the judicial? They will do what they want to do. Well, that was my point exactly, William, when it came to this coalition. The DA showed just how feckless and weak they were because they got nothing of substance. Not anything in the security cluster, not the police, not the intelligence, not the judicial sector, not the military, nothing. They got nothing. They didn't get the key levers of government. They didn't get foreign policy or finance. The DA should have been given finance. We wouldn't have this mess if the DA had been handed finance. Look, I'm not voting for the DA or supporting the DA or I'm opposing the DA. Simply stating that had they got finance, we wouldn't be in this mess right now. They would have come up with a better solution. But the ANC would never let the power go. That's where the real power's at. Spare no expense, huh? Yeah, I heard about the dire wolves, yeah. Yes, Joe, I have been working like a machine since January 16th. It's very exhausting. I'm getting bags under my eyes. I'm looking old before my time. All about the potato being sensational. Oh, did I respond? I know I responded to the other person. It's not sensationalist. That's my analysis of what Fikile Mabalula had to say. Let's go to the digits, okay? All right, what did he say? He says, we're deeply concerned about the conduct of the DA whose participation in the GNU has been marred by double dealing negotiating and acting in bad faith and open disdain for transformation. The ANC has agreed that there's a need to re-engage the GNU. ANC will not cede transformation agenda to those who do not agree with it. It says the government, national union needs a reset. It has to be governed by rules, not by statements. Then he admits the ANC doesn't have a majority and they need to talk to others, but he just told the DA to take a hike. The DA can walk if they like. Let them walk. We are not beholden to the DA. What does somebody interpret that as something other than they can hit the road? Really? Come on, seriously. Doesn't Arama have prerogative for it? Well, that's true. He can do that, Moon Dancer, but that's two separate things. That's two separate things. The composition of the cabinet is separate from the coalition. Yes, the minister served behest the president. You're 100% correct. But that's two separate things. You're talking cats and dogs here. Not chihuahuas and spaniels. You're talking cats and dogs. They're two very different things. Ministers can be fired on the spot. Yep. That's right. Isn't The Apprentice? His pod had Steenhuisen on. His asked about that forum. John basically said America is misinformed. Really? Is that what John said? Did he say it, or are you saying he basically said that? That'd be why you don't see John Steenhuisen in my program, because I won't allow that. I'll push back. America's not misinformed, John Steenhuisen. We know very well what the hell's going on in South Africa. ANC will kick thee out if big business didn't send them that letter. How? Fight. How? There's nothing to kick them out. It's an agreement between the two parties. The ANC can leave and form a new coalition, but they can't kick the DA out. Cost of moving and making exports in the country. I'm not sure what that's all about. Artificial barriers. Well, in South Africa's case, things like BE, that's correct. But in other countries, it's things like I explained with Japan motorcycles, also other things. The Chinese put lots of informal barriers in there, which prevent us from putting stuff in. Fan, hey Fan, what's going on? 140 Rand, super chat, thank you for that. Most mainstream media in South Africa is capture and just peddle ANCs. Yeah, that's why I find it funny that I'm being accused of using a clickbait, sensationalist headline. I'm not. It's my analysis. If you don't agree with it, that's your prerogative. You don't have to agree with me. People are welcome to be wrong on a daily basis.